Look, have you had anything moved? Lifted or separated? Or stretched?
No.
Wait a minute. I know what it is.
What?
You've had one of those anti-wrinkle injections, haven't you? I knew it.
Botox to you, Cliff.
Botox. Des, the word is Botox.
Yeah, you know about these things, don't I?
Just a bit.
Never mind about it. What do you think about tonight's show? How do you feel about it?
Well, to be honest with you, I feel a little bit like Ant and Dec.
Well, that won't matter, because let's face it, we are pop idols.
Well, you're right. I suppose I am.
I suppose he is. Yes, he is a pop idol. He's always been a pop idol. The only man to have hit records not only in the 50s, 60s and the 70s, but also the 80s, the 90s and into the 21st century. Over 100 hit singles. 129 to be precise. Not even the Beatles or Elvis Presley did that. It can only be this man. Cliff Richard! Yeah, well, I don't have to say that, lot of pleased to see you. It's just looking at that and looking at that crowd, and it is interesting. Just watching the look when you walked on there. I mean, over the years, and we love our fans, but fans now and again can be a little bit over the top, a little bit over enthusiastic. You know the thing that I don't understand.
No, not mine, Des.
No, not yours. No, just mine. Stage doors. I bet this has happened to you. Stage doors. They take. Can we take a picture? Yeah.
Oh.
And the camera never works.
Never.
It never works.
You have to tell them to watch the little red light.
And they get nervous too, don't they?
Well, I was signing a book once, one of the book signing sessions, and this lady came up and she said, "Can I take a picture?" And we said, "All right." And she went like that. So I said, "Don't press the button yet." So she's still going like that, so I went like that. And she sent me a copy. It was perfectly in focus. It had to be, didn't it?
That's lovely. Well, and talking about pictures at the stage door,
yeah.
I've got a few here that they took of me. And you better watch out, because there's a couple of you too. Let's have a look at pictures. Look at that. Look like I'm having some kind of... Oh,
I love that. I love that one, because you haven't got your head in it.
I'll get you, playtime. This is some of your shots. Look at that! I didn't know you were taking pictures. What's that? Oh, that's that smile you do.
Yes, when they say, hang on a minute, you go, keep smiling. And you say, take the picture.
Looking at some of the moments in your life, not all, we've been here forever just doing it all. Some of the headlines caught my eyes. The one that said, quite the most crude exhibitionism ever seen on television. Cliff, what were you doing?
Oh, Des, I'll show you. It was real, I mean, I was just going... You know what I mean, on this? I mean, please.
I think the critic was right. I think that was... Well, you move very well. Now you're still moving very well, but I got a clip here. When you... How can I describe your movements? Well, you were a little wooden, all right? Have a little look at this. You were a little wooden.
Sometimes I feel you are cheating me, then you kiss me. and my mind is free. But then I think I should let you know that I got friends. So baby, listen to me.
It's saying that that's a Thunderbird.
The Shadows and I agreed to do it. We thought we were going to be in it. And then we got a message saying that the puppets were better. The puppets.
Yeah, it was
But
great.
I'll tell you what, I didn't realise who else was in the film, but I see now that you were playing Parker.
I'll have you know, sir, Cliff, I wasn't in that. I was in a kind of similar situation. I was in Stingray.
Were you?
Well, sort of. Have a look. Have a look at this.
Stand by for action. Anything can happen in the next half hour.
Good fun.
Wonderful.
You represented us in the Eurovision,
Oh, yeah, I did.
and you came second.
Second.
Yes. And then you went in again.
And I came second.
What was your verdict on their verdict, the judges?
Well, I think we was robbed. We really were robbed. In fact, it's strange, isn't it? I lost by 1 point to Maciel, the Spanish singer, who sang a song called La 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 La. There was no lyric. But that's fair enough. All sorts of songs can win Eurovision. But I lost by 1 point. Now, Yugoslavia gave me 0 points. And Ireland gave me no points. So if they'd given me 1 point each, I would have won by 1 point. It was that close. But still, you know, what the heck. It sold well. And
your suit obviously inspired people. Because I think Austin Powers, I think he was highly impressed with that, especially the frilly shirt. There were some great groups around, though, at that time. You know, through the 50s, 60s, especially the 60s and 70s. We had, and the Searchers, I know you always had a little soft spot.
Well, the whole Liverpool thing came through and just blasted everyone off the planet, virtually, and it brought with it a lot of wonderful bands who sang great songs.
In fact, you're going to do one now. This is on the new album,
Yep.
Wanted. And you're going to say, this one's called
Every Time You Walk in the Room.
Cliff's going to do it. Cliff Richard, every time that you walk in the room.
Well, I can feel a new expression on my face. I can feel a growing sensation taking place. I can hear the guitar playing lovely tune. Every time that you walk in the baby, it's a dream come true. Standing right alongside of you. Wish I could tell you how much I care, but I only have the nerve to stay. Whoa, whoa, when I can feel something pounding in my brain. Just any time that someone speaks your name. Trumpet sound and I hear thunder boom. Every time that you walk in the room. Every time that you walk in the room. I can feel a new expression on my face. I can feel a new sensation taking place. I can feel a new expression on my face. Feel a new sensation taking place. Feel a new expression on my face. I can feel a new sensation taking place.
he won't be able to refuse. See you then. Right, welcome back. Now, you've got homes in Weybridge,
Yeah.
Portugal,
Yep.
and now Barbados.
Yep.
We're going to have a whip round later for him. And you've travelled extensively, right? Been to almost everywhere. But I've got a ticket here, right? A ticket here, which will take you on a journey of a lifetime, right?
Is it a ship?
Well,
HMS?
it's a sort of a ship. You'll see in a moment. And I know you're a bit of a Trekkie, so you could be the first passenger, right, to travel on the inaugural flight of the nation's newest spaceship, HMS New Frontier, right?
Oh.
And your destination is, want to have a look?
Mars?
Yeah, Mars. Do you want...
Well, is it free?
You don't have to pay for it.
I'll go.
You'll go. Okay, now this journey
Do
happens...
you get air miles?
This journey happens 50 years from now, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So you probably still look the same anyway. It's a bit of a trek. It's 32 million miles, okay? Today would take 10 months if we could go, 10 months. But 50 years' time, probably only 6 weeks. But then there's always that bit on the M25, so let's say 8 weeks. Still want to go?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, so let's play Stars on Mars. Fasten your seatbelt. We have liftoff. Incidentally, I didn't tell you before, you are now, when you're strapped in, I can tell you this, you're the only one on board. Okay? It's fully automated, okay, and it's an imaginary flight. But will you be good? I mean, are you good alone, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not bad on my own. I've been off on holidays by myself with just the 2 dogs and a guitar, and I can survive. I can get by on my own for a short period of time, maybe, 100 years or so. I can cope.
What creature comforts are you going to take on this journey? I mean, food. Is it one particular thing? Is it like ambrosia puddings or whatever?
Is there sort of an extractor fan?
I assume so. It's fully automated modern
Because I'd like to take curry.
curry. It's a good job you're not wearing a spacesuit. What about...
Although I was told in the spacesuit that everything gets sort of recycled.
One possession. If you got it, they allow you to take one possession. What one possession would be vitally important to you being comfortable and relaxed?
Oh, I mean, I couldn't really do without my guitar, I suppose.
Yeah.
If you're going to be that long on your own, at least, I don't really play great guitar, but it's nice to strum around. You can waste a lot of hours doing that.
You listen a lot to music in your spare time. What CDs would you take on that journey?
I think I'd take an Elvis album called The Sun Sessions. It's like the beginnings of rock and roll. You can hear rock and roll the way we know it now, being built up from him just strumming and then DJ Fontana coming in and Bill Black on bass and Scotty Moore on guitar. They slowly join, and the album's a wonderful explanation, really, of how it came to be what it was. So I would take that, and I suppose amongst the contemporary lot, I love Mariah Carey. I love her voice a great deal.
You took it about Elvis. Now, he was a big influence in your life and your music.
I've always said that if there had been no Elvis, then there wouldn't have been a Cliff Richard. I mean, I didn't have any aspirations to be any of the other singers, even though when I look back now, the singers that were around were phenomenal. I mean, Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, Perry Como, but it just so happens that period of time, when I was in my early teens, they were not the ones that inspired us to be like them. Later, of course, like now I'm thinking, gosh, these guys really knew what they were doing. And sometimes those of us who started the way I started, we didn't know what we were doing. It's just that we made certain sounds and noises that people liked and we got off the ground. But Elvis was the one that made me think, oh, I'd like to be... I used to dream, actually, that I would wake up and be Elvis.
Did you ever meet him?
I nearly did a couple of times. Once I turned it down because he'd put a lot of weight on, and the press man had said to me, we'll introduce you to him if we can take the photographs. And like a fool, I said, no, I'll wait till he's lost some weight, because he used to lose weight for his movies, and then I'll meet him, and at least I'll have pictures of my big hero with him looking good. And of course Elvis died, so I really felt that I lost out there. But the one other time I nearly met him was when on my first holiday, coming back from Italy, we were driving and we decided to take a detour into Germany. I can't remember where he was stationed when he was
I
in the
think
army.
it was Wiesbaden.
Wiesbaden. Anyway, we pulled in, we found the house, and it was all covered with graffiti, you know, "We love Elvis," so we knew it was the right place. I had to walk down, if I remember, it was like an alley, almost like an alleyway down the side of the house. And
You didn't knock on the door, did
I
you?
did. I was with 3 others, and they all said, "Well, you're the one that's a fan, you go and knock on the door." So I did, and this big guy said, "Sorry, you missed him, he's gone to Paris." And I thought, oh, well, I got pretty close. But that was it. That's the nearest I ever got to meeting Elvis.
Now, you can take 2 movies with you. Which would be the 2 movies you would take?
I think, and it's still there in my top 1 or 2 anyway, a movie called Blade Runner.
I know that.
Do you know it?
I sort of saw that. It was very dark.
It was.
And it was lights. It looked like back streets of Hong Kong. Very
Dripping
heavy
with water.
rain all the time.
Yes,
Why?
and it was.
I don't imagine you liking that.
Well, I mean, I liked it because it was a futuristic film, and it kind of showed that even though we progress, and even now it's true, you progress, civilization progresses and progresses, and we're traveling Concorde and stuff like that, and shuttles going off and coming back, and yet down below here there are still people starving, there are still people scrabbling about in the dust, it's dirty. And the film, although it takes place not that far in the future from us now, is kind of showed that.
What about the lighter sides of movies? Would you take something that make you
I
smile?
quite like, yeah, I like romantic. I quite like the romantic movie.
Anyone
I mean,
else?
I saw one recently, Serendipity.
That was with Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah,
And,
John, is it John Cusack?
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a bit of a romantic, are you?
Yeah, well, I love those kind of movies, Sleepless in Seattle and all that sort of stuff. It's great.
Let me ask you, do you cry? I cry at trailers, me. I'm stupid, you know.
I cry at The Archers.
Well, I'm in the cinema with my little girl, and you know, and because if I see Bambi, even today, or Dumbo when it puts his trunk through there, I'm going like this. Oh, stupid. So do you cry?
I do, yeah. I mean, I've never done that one, but I wear glasses. I wear glasses in the cinema, and you have to wait a little while, though, so the little bit's gone by and the tears are coming down. So I just get my glasses like that, but these fingers are going like that.
Oh.
I don't know why. Why are we... And actually, I'm not ashamed to say that I weep during movies. If you get a real... The E.T. lot, that E.T. film, that last 10 minutes or so, was unbelievably
When was
weepy.
the last time you cried not in the movies? Can you remember?
Oh, I've shed
I don't want
a
to bring it
tear.
down here.
No, I mean, I've shed a tear sometimes when I get really serious and talk. People have asked me about... In fact, with the press asking, it's hard. I've later on thought it through, and I thought a tear to my eye, that they asked me about my father. And I always think my father missed really the absolute best parts of my career. He was very drawn back from it all when I was amateur. Don't get too carried away, you may not make it. But the minute I did, he was right there alongside me. And it's a shame, but after, sort of not long after The Young Ones, he died. In fact, I don't think he was fit enough to come to the premiere. So I always, you know, I get hurt the fact that he didn't actually see all the best bits.
Now, there's a lot of time on this journey for you to reflect. Not meditate, but you'll be by yourself and you'll have time to think about things. Do you have any regrets? I mean, with children, because I've seen you with children, you're wonderful with kids. Is there a regret that you may not be children in your life?
No, not really. I must admit, I had those kind of feelings very early in my life. You know, the band the Shadows were all getting married and things, and in those days the peer pressure seemed to be greater. I don't feel any pressure now. I feel free of it somehow. And those days, I almost felt bordering on desperation that I was going to be left out here. So if you'd asked me that question 35 years ago, I'd have had a different answer. But now I'm thinking, I've lived through this whole period of life of mine up till this moment, and I like what I have now. I like what I am now. And yeah, children, of course I like children. I feel as I've had lots of my own, but my sister's kids have always been around.
Well, that's what I meant. You're so good with them, you know.
Well, I mean, we have always got on well, and I've been a bit of a disciplinarian. You know, if they come round to me and stay for a weekend, I always say, you've got to try everything. If you say you don't like parsnips and you've not tried it, I'm not accepting it. Well, I've got a niece now who likes parsnips. And she has those prawn ball things that you get in it. Oh no, I don't like prawns, oh no. Tried it, she eats them like a whale.
So you're trying to put a bit of influence there?
So I'm good with kids, I'm all right with kids, but I don't particularly at this moment have any great desire for, you know, to have children.
No.
For what, I mean, if you're going to have children, it should be for the sake of the children. At my age, I've got a feeling it might be just maybe if it's a boy, they could continue my career for me, you know, and that would be the wrong reason, wouldn't it?
What do you say? I know you've got strong feelings about this. What do you say to people, certain elements, who say, Cliff never married, got to be gay? What do you feel when you hear
I'm awfully happy.
You know what I mean.
I always think it's impossible for me to actually, I don't bother justifying myself to anybody anymore. And one thing that's happened since I got older was that I've always said to the press that if you actually believe that any of us that you talk to who have celebrity, that's why they talk to us, if you actually think that we're going to tell you everything about us, you really are very naive. So I've kept my private life to myself. I find my best friends, you know, I don't ask them about their sexual orientation. I don't ask them, you know, how many times they do it. And they're friends of mine, Des. These people I have never met before in my life. And they ask me things like that. So I've got very philosophical about it and just go, next. I don't see why I have to talk about it. Besides, I've answered the question so many times I've forgotten which one's true.
Okay. All right, let's take it a slightly different direction. How are you going to keep fit? Because I know you're a bit of a fitness freak. How are you going to keep fit on this spaceship?
Well, I'm assuming I can't play tennis.
You can't play tennis?
Small.
If you think about it, because if you dropped your racket, it would float away. And Lord knows where your ball's going to end up on the ceiling. It happens on spaceships.
It does.
They just go straight up. I played tennis with you.
Not in space.
No, I wouldn't trust you. But I played tennis with you, and I'm not going. It was your charity tennis. What's it called?
I have a charity foundation, and we have a pro celebrity tennis match every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I played down at Brighton. I remember that,
Yeah.
and I'd never played before. But I said, "Well, I'll have a go." You said, "Come on, be a sport," and I did. I had a go at it. Right.
It was one of our last times in Brighton, actually.
Yeah. Well, you hit me twice. Not with a racket. He serves like you're Pete Sampras. And I'm not going to tell you where that ball hit me, but I could have opened a pawnbroker's shop.
Hang on just a second. Thank you.
Okay, join us after the break when Cliff continues on his journey and we find out just what he's doing in this picture. Find out after the break. Okay, let's take another look at that picture of Cliff. Let's take another picture again. Now, what were you doing there, Cliff?
I was just hanging out with the lads. I didn't know it was going to be a full frontal. I thought that was a still.
Yeah, then. I think you were just playing for the camera there. I mean, you wouldn't never sort of, not in the bushes, would you?
Well, I personally wouldn't, but I mean, I remember coming home from London once. My PA, Roger, was driving, and we pulled into one of those, drive-in burger places, and got ourselves a burger, and he was dying to go to the toilet, and it was night, so they didn't have the restaurant open, so he couldn't get to the toilet. But there's a big hedge around it, and I said, just go into the hedge. You know, I've done it before. And he said, no, I can't do that. I said, Roger, it's really easy. And I said, I'm not going to do it, I'll just show you. So I got up like this, and the hedge came to here. And I pretended like this, and a lorry went by, and a bloke said, all right, Cliff? But I was not doing it, though.
No, of course you weren't.
No, I wasn't.
Never would.
I'm just showing someone else how to.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. So you're sitting there. Let's say you're meditating. You're going to be homesick.
Yeah.
Okay. But which home would you miss? Will you miss Weybridge? Will you miss Portugal? Will you miss Barbados?
I'd miss them all, I suppose, but Portugal has a very soft spot in my heart, apart from the fact that the wine's coming from there. But it is a nice, peaceful place to be. I like it.
Yeah.
I'd miss that.
I can see how you would miss this, Cliff.
I mean,
not
how could you
much.
not?
Not much, but it's home, eh?
It's not much, but I call it home. No, it's a lovely place. I mean, by chance I found this, really, because I wasn't actually looking for a house. I had a very nice house on the beach, but the development was getting close. And, you know, when you're about to serve a second serve, and someone says, "Can I have your autograph, please?" You think, "Oh dear, perhaps I ought to move a little bit further away," because the whole point of coming to a place like this is to escape from all of that for a couple of weeks of the year.
How long have you been here?
9 years and a couple of months now.
But that's in this house.
That's in this house, yeah.
And then you had the first house was in the 60s. Well, you one of the first people to come down here.
I've had a house on and off ever since 1961. But I had a house then in Albufeira, which was the first really famous village here. I mean, it was packed with... when we came here, there were a lot of French people, and within a year, they'd all gone. I mean, maybe because, you know, I arrived.
So, why? Now, here's a question I have to ask. You just bought a house in Barbados, right? You're just finishing it.
Yeah.
Why, when you've got this, did you buy a house in
Well,
Barbados?
so I remember someone saying to me once, "You can't have too much of a good thing." And I'm beginning to believe it's true. But seriously, I also was thinking about, you know, I became 60 last year, and I started thinking, what am I going to do? You know, I can't expect to go on at any pace year after year after year, and as it has been since I was 18. And I thought I better start looking after myself, really, and thinking, what am I going to do when the time comes when the career maybe slows down, or I make it slow down? I don't want to come to Portugal all the time. I don't want to be in England all the time. And I thought if I had a third really wonderful place to live, I'd almost have the perfect life, really. Yeah. And that's where you begin to realize how lucky we are. And Barbados is completely different to here.
I was going to say, it is a different lifestyle, because although people go there for holiday, they seem to be running to the beach, they're running to the bar, they're running to the restaurants, there's parties, and it is a fun
It's a
place.
social world. But here, in fact, I don't think I know. I mean, I know to wave at the lady on the corner here. And I've met a couple of times there.
They all know you, though. Oh, Sir Cliff, they all know you.
Well,
you only
I
have to ask
suppose
anybody that knows.
It's hysterical because they don't really have road names. My road doesn't have a name. You know. Well,
Oh,
you
that's
turn,
when we asked. They said,
Yeah.
go to the Blue Windmill.
Yeah, turn left at the toilets.
Turn left.
Yeah. And right opposite the dustbins, you'll find his house. It's like that.
This house, this little shack that you slum around in,
Yes.
this place, I mean, obviously the features for you, a lovely tennis courts there,
Yeah.
but there are vineyards here.
Well, there are now.
I mean, you put the vineyards in.
Well, in actual fact, just down below here, there was a vineyard, but it was pretty well dying out, and they were growing they looked like wild Chardonnay grapes. And I talked to the farmer and said, look, I'd like the farm to work. So we planted 10 acres of figs, and we were about to do this. And they were 3 years old at this stage when I met the winemaker. And he said, well, we can grow vines here, but I'm going to need that land. And just as our first crop was just about to be picked for figs, we had to get rid of them all.
Oh.
Dig them all out. They cost me 30 quid a hole.
Well,
And there were thousands of them.
I like figs, but I'm more interested in the wine here.
So am I.
Yeah. Is there any chance I could have a look?
Absolutely, let's go.
That's just fantastic, isn't it, that view?
I know, you can see it from up here, it's fabulous.
It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I think the legs are going.
They do walking around this place, I tell you.
That's about 2 miles, that is. How much land is there here?
Well, the whole farm has about 28 acres, but only 16 acres are covered by the grapes.
Yeah. Well, so 16 acres of vines.
Yeah.
When it's production time, Cliff, how
Well,
many bottles would
They
you say?
pick the grapes in September, and this year we're going to, but not until September, 37,000 bottles of wine.
What?
Yeah.
You can't drink 37,000 bottles of wine, could you?
No, but I'm going to try. And what I don't drink, we sell.
So is it red wine? Is it white wine?
It's red wine. They asked me, he originally said, what kind of wine do you want, white or red? And I chose red. I don't know about you, I just like a red wine. And what really thrills me is that my little piddling 16 acres might well kick off the whole industry in the Algarve, because they used to grow grapes here and then they slowly petered out. And the winemaker said to me, look, they're just a few years behind. They will learn how to do it. But in the meantime, we can kick it off.
What does it taste like?
Why don't we try some days? I can't describe it.
I thought you'd never ask.
Chocolate, blackberries. It's got some kiwi fruit in it.
So that actual picture on there is it's the wine here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a vineyard. We found the picture in an art shop, and the artist must have come there, trespassed, and done a shot from that way, whether they took a photograph and worked from a photograph, I don't know. But it was really nice because we wanted something that showed it as a farm, and of course it's got the windmill up in the corner and the little section of the house with the trees going over it. But it's the red soil. You know, when it's dug up and it's wet, and it's been irrigated, things. I mean, the soil is just so wonderfully red.
Is that going to be an expensive wine, or is it going to be simple
Well,
price?
that bottle, in fact, was the first 8 bunches, so that'll probably cost you about 8 grand. But there's one sweet lady
spends her life growing flowers and caring for the bees. Power to the bees. There's some young girl laying down in Albufeira, laying in the sun. Power to the sun. And power to the boys who played rock and roll, made my life so sweet. And to the girls I knew before, and those I've yet to meet. Power to all our friends, to the music that never ends, to the people we want to be. Baby, power to you and me. Now there's a farmer plowing in the valley, living off the land. Power to the land. And then can someone spend some time making wine? The wine's tasting fine. Power to the vine. Power to the boys who played rock and roll, and made my life so sweet. And to the girls I knew before, and those I've yet to meet. Power to all our friends, to the music that never ends, to the people we want to be. Baby, power to you and me. And the vines.
I really enjoyed that because I learned a lot about wine and the way people, vintners are we called? Whatever.
Vintners, yeah.
The way people involved, the way they describe the wine.
I know.
The jargon, a light bouquet, a pretentious little red. Sounds like Mick Hucknall, that doesn't it? That's a good idea, and I think maybe people should have labels.
People?
Yeah, people. If we had labels, well, if I was a bottle of wine, how would you describe Des?
I would say deceptively agile, fruity, and a lot of nose. I'm asking for trouble here, but how would you describe me?
You?
If I was a bottle of wine.
That's not easy. I think I'll phone a friend. No, better still, I'll call a waiter to give us an answer. Waiter, is there a waiter here, please? Is there a waiter? You two know each other.
That's what we do know each other.
You've met before.
Yeah, we have. On and off we know each other.
Right, take a seat.
Nice to see you, mate.
And we were just, I don't know what you call that, we were just bless you, we were just talking about wine.
Yep.
You did.
I didn't,
You
no.
mucky pup. We were talking about wine and people. It'd be a nice idea if, like, stars had descriptions like wine. How would you describe Cliff?
Careful.
Well, I would say distinguished,
Yeah.
elegant,
Yeah.
and surprisingly good legs for the age.
And what about, we haven't done his lordship here.
Hey, steady.
Oh, no, this is not one.
You want to go?
Yeah, I'd say tangy.
No, twangy.
Okay. Tangy, twangy. What else? What did you say?
Never sharp.
Oh, never flat.
Yeah, and comes with big glasses. All right, I'll drink to that. Oh, well, we should have a sip of this, because this is your stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, look at that.
Drink to your safe return from
Thank you.
gallivanting around in the galaxy.
Enjoy.
And you two are both off gallivanting on tour. You start your tour next week, okay? And you'll do a big tour in October.
In October, yeah.
Okay.
And he's got an album out.
Oh, you have got an album out? What's it
Indeed.
called?
It's called Guitar Player.
A lot of thought went into that, Hank.
It wasn't easy.
Now, but you two, you're going to do a number from the album?
Yeah, I don't
Duet.
sing it on the album, but when I heard the album, I said, oh, let's just do it as a one-off live thing here.
What's it called? Don't say Me and My Shadow, because
No.
I'll never forgive you.
What's it called? Miss American Pie.
Miss America Pie. You get on your marks. The boys are going to do this. You in a minute, chaps. Here's Cliff and Hank. Miss American Pie.
Now do you believe in rock and roll? Can music save your mortal soul? Can you teach me how to dance real slow? We both kicked off our shoes. I really think those are rhythm and the music played. I started singing, bye bye, Miss American Pie. Drove a Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. The good old boys are drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. Did you write the book of love? Do you have faith in God or what? If the Bible tells you so, then I should. Well, I know that you're in love with him. I saw you dancing in the gym. I was a lonely teenage rocket buck with a big carnation and a pickup truck. I knew I was out of luck the day that the music died. We keep on singing, bye bye, Miss American Pie. Drove her Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. The good old boys are drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. Bye bye, Miss American Pie. Bye bye, Miss American Pie. Drove a Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry.
Join us after the break to find out how members of the royal family managed to surprise and scare our Cliff. After the break. Time now, a song from Cliff's latest album, Wanted. It's his new single. Here he is singing, Let Me Be the One. Cliff.
When you're out in the ocean and you're swimming against the tide, when you're climbing a mountain and the mountain seems too high, never give up believing love is on your side. And when the darkness surrounds you and you cannot see your way, when the loneliness finds you and there is no hiding place, never give up believing love will save the day. Someone is waiting to come in. Let me be the one that you hold on to, 'cause I will bring the sun to shine on you. Your lonely days are gone. The best is yet to come. If you let me be the one. And when the weight on your shoulders is too much to bear, there's no burden too heavy that cannot be shared. You can run into my heart and lay your troubles there. They say surrender brings freedom for the soul. Well, don't you think it's time that you let it go? Let me be the one that you hold on to, 'cause I will bring the sun to shine on you. Your lonely days are gone. The best is yet to come. If you let me be the one. Open up the gates you closed around your heart. Someone is waiting to come in. Let me be the one that you hold on to, 'cause I will bring the sun to shine on you. The lonely days are gone. The best is yet to come. Let me be the one. Won't you let me be the one?
Okay. Now, Sir Cliff, see, I said it, Sir Cliff.
said it,
What's
didn't
it like getting knighted? I mean, does it change your life? Suddenly, you are Sir Cliff.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it doesn't really change your life, but it seems to change other people's perspective of you. I mean, I'm amazed at how many people use the term Sir Cliff. I mean, you don't have to do it.
Well, I've known you for 100 years.
I know, but all you have to do is just bow when you speak to me. You don't have to say anything. No, but it doesn't really change anything. I have to say, though, I have had some very, very fine meals in restaurants, in special places.
Oh.
You kind of use it, in a way it impresses people, where, in fact, it shouldn't really, should it? But it does.
What about the actual investiture? I mean, I want to know this, because we've got a picture of you here, actually, which they don't usually let us show that, but that's interesting. Now, does she actually, well, it looks like, does she actually dub you on the shoulder?
She does. I was a little bothered when she actually came at me like this.
So she scared you, right?
Just slightly worried, yeah.
You sang for the two princes, didn't you?
I did. If ever I get invited to sing for them again, I'll be very happy to remind them of the first Royal Command I did for them. It was in a little bar in Austria where we were skiing. Diana had been skiing there a couple of times. We'd seen her skiing there a couple of times, and she knew that on the Friday night, Mike Reed and I used to get our guitars out and just busk and sing. And she said to me, "Would you do that for the boys?" So I thought, yeah, of course I'll do it. I'm very happy to. So we sat down after dinner, and I was singing, "Son, you be a bachelor boy," and Harry's going. And after a couple of songs, he turned around. I was really shaken. I didn't think he'd know. He said, "I say," he said, "do you know Great Balls of Fire?" how could he know that? Unless, of course, Diana had bought them a sort of Legends album.
did it?
I did it for them, yeah.
Can I coax you into doing that? Now, I've got the guitar here. I know there's no band. Would you have a go at
Yeah,
this?
I can have a go at this.
I might grab
the
the
band
odd
is,
line.
well, the band is probably gone now and then.
Well, there. You know.
They do sort of leave. If you say it's finished, they go.
Yes. Musicians.
Well, I sang the pub. This was the one that Harry danced. He danced like Michael Jackson.
Really?
He had a Toblerone packet. That was his microphone. He was going, all this was going on. But William was very cool. He's going to be king, you see.
Yeah.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will. What a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I laughed in love cause I thought it was funny. You came along and wooed with me, honey. I changed my mind, this loving's fine. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kiss me, baby. Ooh, feels good. Hold me, baby. Ooh, I wanna love you like a lover should. You're fine. So kind, gotta tell the world that you're mine, 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 mine. I chew my nails and I twiddle my thumb. I'm real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby, won't you drive me crazy? Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Woo!
More? You want to do some more?
I'm gonna do that.
I should get you down here.
I'm just gonna put. I just
What
want
are
to
you
put.
doing? What are you doing?
This is a clamp.
Clamp. I get that every night, but all right. Wait, so
Come on over, baby. Hold on a second. Come on over, baby. Whole lot of shaking going on. Well, come on over, baby. Baby, you can't go wrong. We ain't begging. We got a whole lot of shaking going on. Well, come on over, baby, 'cause we got chicken in the barn.
big bun, who's bun? My bun.
Come on over, baby. Billy got the bull by the horn. We ain't begging. We got a whole lot of shaking going on.
They better
All
do it
together
now.
Shake, baby, shake. Shake it, baby, shake. Come on over and shake, baby, shake. Everybody, shake, baby, shake. We ain't faking. We got a whole lot of shaking going on. Easy now. Shake, baby, shake. Shake it, baby, shake.
Do do do.
Shake, baby,
Bum
shake.
bum bum do do do.
Shake
Bum
it,
bum
baby,
bum
shake.
bum bum.
Put on over.
Bum bum.
A whole lot of shaking going on. One more time.
Oh,
Shake it, baby, shake. Shake it, baby, shake.
shake,
Shake, baby, shake. Shake it, baby, shake. We ain't faking. Well, there's a whole